Well, we last spoke when you were doing Ricochet, and you were in the middle of doing this, and I didn't realize how hard a feat this was. This had to be a tough movie to do for you.
A lot easier than Ricochet. Ricochet was tougher, yeah. Hanging from buildings is a lot harder than...
A lot of dialogue in Malcolm X.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you basically just go in somewhere and practice some of the speeches? Was that one of the things you kind of went off in a room somewhere and did?
I never had the pressure of having to do them word for word. So I never did them the same way twice. But yeah, it wasn't easy. And standing up in front of, 200 or 2,000 people, excuse me, and making these speeches and feeling like, trying to arouse people with what you say and hoping that you do, it's intimidating.
See one of those characters you'd take home with you at the end of the day?
Ooh, yeah, live with it, yeah.
Depending on what the shoot was that day?
Yeah. Sometime I stayed on the set and never went home,
What are you finding in the publicity for the film? What kind of reaction are you getting so far from the people, your friends, or whoever has seen this film? What kind of impact is it having?
I haven't talked to a lot of people that have seen it, but people seem to have been moved by it, and a couple of people that I've spoke to. But I haven't really talked to a lot of people that have seen it.
What do you want people to get? I mean, personally, your friends and family and whoever sees it. I mean, do you have like something that you would like for them to see or get out of the film?
For young people, I would like them to see that one doesn't have to be a slave to one's environment, that one can pull oneself out and evolve and grow and search for truth. It's for my parents or friends, whatever they get out of it is fine with me.
He was a man of strength, if nothing else. Regardless of the politics or how you feel about anything, you certainly have to respect him for being a man of conviction and strength.
Brave man, very brave man. When you think of the time that he lived in, very brave man, man among men.
Misunderstood man?
Probably, yeah.
A man taken out of context, in some cases, by the press?
Oh, probably, yeah.
I mean, I was taught, I'm from the deep South, that this man was preaching hate, but when I told Spike and I told the others that when I see the film, I don't get that impression. I didn't hear the hate that everyone else says he was doing. Was I not listening correctly, or?
Well, he would illustrate it this way. Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. Somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. The ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
Many people, Carl Rowan, for example, has written several columns even recently about how this is revisionist history and that people really didn't know what Malcolm X was and who he was and what he stood for. I mean, he didn't have the whole black movement in step with him either.
Who said this?
Carl Rowan, syndicated columnist. He was a member of the government when Malcolm X was making all the speeches, and he didn't like him at all.
He was a member of the government.
Yeah. That answers that, doesn't it? I rest my case on that one.
Right. And now he writes for the newspapers?
I mean, he didn't have everybody in step with him. I mean,
no, he's much more popular now.
What do you count for that?
Well, I think that people are frustrated. I think that with the government, Carl Rowan's government, I think that people are reaching out. They don't see the type of leadership present that there used to be, so they reach into the past and find the heroes in the past. Hopefully that's going to change now with a new administration, hopefully a new time.
You certainly deserve an Oscar nomination for this. You thinking about that? You've won one, so you have another one to put on your shelf. You think the people who do Oscars and people who vote for that would have the nerve to the politics that correct yet in Los Angeles, where they could give someone who played Malcolm X an Oscar? basically representing what you did in the film?
Do I think they could? I really don't think about it. You know, I don't concern myself with awards and things like that. That has really not a lot to do with what I do. It's not the reason I'm in this business, and it sure doesn't motivate me in my work. You know, it's a nice, you know, icing on the cake or whatever after the fact, but it's truly after the fact. And it's out of my hands, you know. I've done what I can do as far as this film is concerned. I've done that already. It's there, you know. However people react to it, it has to do with what they're bringing to the table.
So how do you know if you've done a good job?
When I look at it, I can, you know, say, oh, okay, it's pretty good, or whatever, you know.
You don't pay a lot of attention to reviews and those kind of things?
Well, you know, you're always affected by opinion, but the more opinions there are of you, of me, the less I look at them, because I just can't live my life based upon what other people think about me. So I can't concern myself too much with what other people think. You know, it's just not healthy. I don't think I could continue to do what I do if I was constantly worrying about what somebody thought about it.